Okay. So we just went live. I made a mistake and turned on the video late. So let me explain for you folks that may watch this later that we have finished Canto 21 and we're moving on to Canto 22, which puts us where the 10 devils are escorting Virgil and Dante uh, out, supposedly out of the barratry level. But actually, Dante is suspicious of the devils, Virgil is not. And with that, I'll say that I'm going to start reading at line 64 in Italian, and I will read probably about 20 lines and then turn it over to Decio, who actually knows the Italian much, much better than I do. Okay, so here we go, Canto 22. Lo duca dunque, udì, degli altri conosci tu alcun che sia latino, sotto la pece, e quelli, I mi parti, poco è, da un che fu della vicino, così fossio ancor con lui coperto, chi non temere unghia né uncino. E libicoco, troppo aven sofferto, giso, e presilil, branchio co cielo, sicché, tracciando, ne porto un lacerto. Draghi naso, ancoe vole dar di piglio, guiso alle gambe, onde descurio loro, si volse intorno con mal piglio. Quan egli un poco rapaciati fuoro a lui, ch'ancor mirava sua ferita. Domandò duca mio senza dimoro. Ok, Deseo, please.
Chi fu colui da cui mala partita di chi facesti per venire a proda? Ed ei rispose, fu frate Gomita, quel di Galura, vassel d'ogni froda, che ebbe i nemici di suo dono in mano, e feci lor che a ciascun se ne loda. Danar si tolse, e laccioli di piano si con edice, e negli altri uffici anche, baratier fu non picciol, ma sovrano. Usa con esso dono Michel Zanchi di Logodoro, e a dir di Sardegna le lingue lor non si sentono stanchi. O me, vedete l'altro che digrigna, e direi ancor, ma il temo che ello non s'apparecchi a grattarmi la tigna. E il gran proposto volto a Farfarello, che stralunava gli occhi per fedire, disse, fatti n'accostà, malvoglio uccello. Se voi volete vedere e udire, ricominciò lo spaurato appresso, Toschi e Lombardi io ne farò venire, ma stieno i malbranchi un poco in cesso, sì che non teman della lor vendette, e io seggendo in questo loco stesso, perché un che io son ne farò venire 7, quando io soffolerò con il nostro uso di fare a loro che fuori alcun si mette. Cagnasso, a cotal motto levò il muso, crollando a capo e disse: "O di malizia che egli ha pensata per ghitarsi giusto, onde che avea lacciuoli e grandi vizia rispose: malizioso son i troppo quando io procuro a mia maggior tristizia. Alechin non si tenne e di rintoppo agli altri disse a lui: se tu ti cali, io non ti verrò dietro di gualoppo, ma batterò sopra la pece ed ali lasciasi a colo e sia la ripa scudo a veder se tu suol più di noi vali. E tu che leggi udirai nuovo ludo, ciascun dall'altra costa gli occhi volse, quel prima che a ciò fare era più crudo. Lo novarese ben suo tempo colse, fermò le piante a terra e in un punto saltò e dal proposto lor si scuolse, di che ciascun di colpa fu compunto, ma quei più chi cagion fu del difetto, però si mosse e gritò: tu sei giunto, ma poco i volse che ali al sospetto non potero avanzar quelli in sotto e quei drissò volando su il petto. Non altrimenti la nitra di botto, quando il falcon s'appressa, già si stufa ed ei ritorna su crucciato e rotto. Irato calcabrina della buffa, volando dietro si tenne in voghetto che quei compasse per aver la zuffa. E come il barattiere fu disparito, così volse gli artigli al suo compagno e fu con lui sopra il fosso ghermito. Ma l'altro fu bene sparvier grifagno all'artigliar ben lui le emendue cader nel meso dal bollente stagno. Lo caldo sghermitor subito fue, ma però di levarsi era niente, si avvieno inviscate di ali sue. Barbaricchia con gli altri suoi dolenti, quando ne fe volar l'altra costa, con tutti i raffi e assai prestamenti. Di qua, di là, discesero alla posta, porser gli uccini verso gli impaniati, che erano già cotti dentro della crosta, e noi lasciamo lor così impacciati.
Okay, very good, Jesse.
Wow.
Terribile.
Very good. Okay, so we can now read the English
Did I
for.
read the Sayers introduction, few sentences?
Sure, of course.
Okay, Canto 22. As the party proceeds along the bank of the Boja, the devils fork a barrator up out of the pitch, who tells the poets who he is and mentions the names of some of his fellow sinners. By a trick, he eludes the devils who are preparing to tear him to pieces, whereupon his captors quarrel among themselves and two of them fall into the pitch. That's the introduction.
Okay. Can we continue our high comedy mixed with horror?
Yeah, I've redone the reading list here. Penny's no longer with us here, so please take note of pretty much the same reading list before, but without Penny. So
Okay, am I still following, who do I follow? That's all I need to know.
you follow Dee Dee.
Okay, great. Okay, so on we go. Read the whole thing in English.
So, Lois, you want to start?
I have seen the cavalry break camp, prepare for an attack, make their muster, and at times fall back to save themselves. I have seen outriders in your land, O Aretinus. I have seen raiding parties, tournaments of teams, hand-to-hand jousts, begun with bells, trumpets, with drums, with signals from the castle, with summons of our own and those from foreign lands. But never to such outlandish fanfare have I seen horsemen move, or infantry, or ships set sail at sign from land or star. On we went, escorted by 10 demons. What savage company! But as they say, in church with saints, with guzzlers in the tavern. My attention was fixed upon the pitch to note each detail of this gulch and of the people poaching in it. Like dolphins, when they arch their backs above the water, giving sailors warning to prepare to save their ship, so from time to time, to ease his pain, one of the sinners would show his back and, quick as lightning, hide it once again. And just as in a ditch at water's edge, frogs squat with but their snouts in sight, their bodies and their legs all hidden, so were the sinners scattered everywhere. But they, at the approach of Barbaricia, withdrew back down beneath the boiling. Next.
I saw, and still my heart doth shudder at it, one waiting thus, even as it comes to pass, one frog remains and down another dives. And Graphiacane, who most confronted him, grappled him by his tresses smeared with pitch and drew him up so that he seemed an otter. I knew before the names of all of them, so I had noted them when they were chosen, and now when they called each other, listened how. O Rubicant, see that thou do lay thy claws upon him, so thou mayest flay him, cried all together, the accursed ones. And I, my master, see to it, if thou canst, that thou mayest know who is the luckless wight that comes into his adversary's hands. Next.
Near to the side of him, my leader drew. Asked of him whence he was, and he replied, I am in the kingdom of Navarre was born. My mother placed me servant to a lord, for she had borne me to a ribald knave, destroyer of himself and of his things. Then I domestic was to good King Tybalt. I set me there to practice barratry, from which I pay the reckoning in this heat. And Chirato, from whose mouth projected on either side a tusk as in a boar, caused him to feel how one of them could rip. Next.
Among malicious cats, the mouse had come. Barbaricia clasped him in his arms and said, Stand ye aside while I unfork him. And to my master he turned round his head. Ask him again, he said, if thou more wish to know from him before someone destroy him. The guide, now tell then of the other culprits. Knowest thou of anyone who is a Latian under the pitch? And I separated lately from one who was a neighbor to it, would that I was covered up with him, or I should fear not either claw or nor hook. And Libicoco, we have borne too much, and with his grapnel seized him by the arm, so that by rending he tore off a tendon. Eke Draginazzo wished to pounce upon him, down at the legs, whence their decurion turned round and round about with evil look. When they again somewhat were pacified, of him who still was looking at his wound, demanded my conductor without stay, Who was that one from whom a luckless parting thou sayest thou hast made to come ashore? And he replied, it was the friar Gomita, he of Galura, vessel of all fraud, who had the enemies of his lord in hand, and dealt so with him, each exults thereat. Next, please.
The golden key, said he, undid the door. But all his jobs were jobbed, no petty jobbery for him. He was a sovereign barrator. With him's Don Michel Zanche, artist in robbery, from Lagador, their tongues going clack, clack, clack about Sardinia, kick up a ceaseless bobbery. Oh, look, that fiend there grinning at me. Alack, he frightens me. I've plenty more to tell, but sure he'll flay my scalp or skin my back. When their huge prefect turned on Farfarol, whose eyes were rolling in the act to pounce, crying, hop off, thou filthy bird of hell. Are there no other souls? Are there no souls from other lands or towns? The quivering wretch went on. You'd like to see Tuscans or Lombards? Get them here at once. But let the hell rakers draw back a wee bit from the shore, so they need not fear reprisals, and for one poor little me, I'll fetch up 7 just sitting here quietly and whistling, as it is our wont to do when one pops out and finds the coast is clear. Jessio?
Yeah.
I'm on 106. I know the translation of Sayers is a little bit different, including the names, but it's line 106 that you'd pick it up.
Cognazo at these words.
At these words, his muscle lifted, shaking his head, and said, just hear the trick which he has thought of down to throw himself. Whence he, who sneers in great abundance had, responded, I by far too cunning am, when I procure for mine a greater sadness. Alekin had not in, but running counter unto the rest said to him, if thou dive, I will not follow thee upon the gallop, but I will beat my wings above the pitch, the height be left, and be the bank a shield, to see if thou alone dost countervail us. O thou who readest, thou shalt hear new sport, each to the other side of his eyes averted. The first who most reluctant was to do it. The Navarrese selected well this time, planted his feet on land, and in a moment leaped and released himself from that design. Whereas each one was suddenly stung with shame, but he most who was cause of the defeat. Therefore he moved and cried, thou art earth taken. But little it availed, for wings could not outstrip the fear. The other one went under, and flying upward his breast directed. Not otherwise, the duck upon a sudden dives under when the falcon is approaching, and upward he returned cross and weary. Infuriated at the mockery, Alcabrina flying behind him followed close, desirous the other should escape to have a quarrel. And when the barrator has disappeared, he turned the talons upon his companion and grappled with him right above the mouth. But suits the other was adopted to spark out, to clapper clown his well, and both of them fell in the middle of the boiling pound. A sudden intercessor was the heat, but nevertheless, or rising there was not. To such degree they had their wings the limit. Lamenting with the others, Barbaricia made 4 of them fly to the other side with the graph of other speed. This cannot read it. this side and that. I cannot finish.
You can't read it?
No, I can't because I'm the cell phone.
Okay, this side and that, each to some vantage post whence they could reach their drags to the pair half strangled and baked already beneath the scummy crust. And there we left them, floundering and entangled.
Thank you.
All right. So not only does he put the Berators in a lower realm of hell, he's really devoting over twice the number of cantos to Beratry.
He is, and I've got a note just at the end of Canto 21 from Sayers saying that the mood of these two cantos, 21 and 22, a mixture of savage satire and tearing high spirits, is unlike anything else in the comedy, and is a little disconcerting to the more solemn-minded of Dante's admirers. And it is, and on that topic, like, could I just ask the Italian speakers? I think there are three of them in the group. How do you translate the last line of Canto 21? I've got, and I think Sayers is soft selling it. He promptly made a bugle of his breech. Now, does somebody have it as crudely put as he hath made a trumpet of his ass? Or
mine is even ruder. And he made a trumpet of his asshole.
He did. Okay, I thought that it was. I'd heard that Dante's original Italian was pretty crude in that line. He made a trumpet of his asshole.
Okay, the Italian. You want the Italian?
Yeah. I think Sayers has mistranslated that line and softening.
Well, Sayers is a proper person.
She unlike present company. Is that what you're saying, Duncan?
I think we are, as a rule, as a group, a little more ribald than Sayers.
Yes.
Earthy.
After all, most of us are James Joyce readers.
Yeah.
You don't get to read James Joyce if you're a prude. You just don't go there.
Oh, that's so true.
I wonder what she thought of James Joyce. I'm going to look it up.
Well, Sayers?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. Okay, here I'm really being a weird. I can't imagine Sayers reading James Joyce.
Probably not.
Yeah, I said it. All right, let me run through the Italian on the Google Translate. See what it has to say. All right, there's Italian, there's English.
In LA Avea del Culo.
Okay, yeah, and according to Google, and he made a trumpet out of his ass.
Okay, right.
Okay, well, I think next time.
On that happy note.
On that happy note, we will say. My suggestion is that when we gather together next time, which should be next Wednesday, that we read the Italian again and we read the English again, and then we start parsing.
Why do we have to read the Italian again?
It's good to hear the original.
What? Yeah. My brain doesn't do much.
To train you in patience, Dee Dee. It's to train
you are?
Yeah.
Just to make you miserable.
The spiritual teacher sent me a message through the ether saying, Dee Dee needs a little more patience, and I understand that she's reading Dante, so read it in Italian.
Oh. All right, I'll put up with it. It's worth it.
Yeah. And Barolini, if you listen to Barolini lectures, she makes a big deal about reading it in Italian. And the actual lectures, she has her class members read the Italian of her lectures.
Nice.
Anyway, This is kind of good. There's a lot of slapstick in this.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
right. And maybe to kind of prepare us for some of the darkness that is coming at us in the future.
Maybe you'll find out. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
All
What
right.
is
Well,
that?
anyway,
Light touch.
we are 6 minutes past our deadline.
We are.
So I'm going to say, welcome back, Dave Little.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody else for coming, and we will meet next Wednesday and continue.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Forward to
good
it.
to see you all.
Yeah, good to see you.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
Bye.
okay.